Hello everyone, very good morning and good evening. Welcome to our demo session of SAP Ariba or sourcing and procurement with Ariba. So basically our today's session is to give you the overview of SAP Ariba. We are going to start a new iteration or you can say new batch on SAP Ariba. So we wanted to go through a quick demo so that you can understand what are the things we are doing in Ariba and what is actually SAP Ariba. At least you should be able to understand with the today's session. That is the idea, right? So before you understand Ariba, I want you to quickly understand, and I will spend around 30 minutes with you, and then I will hand it over to Sree, or maybe around 20 minutes. Before we jump into Ariba, you need to understand in the business we have these key things: sourcing and procurement. Don't think I am talking about a module, SAP S/4HANA sourcing and procurement. It's a business language, right? Sourcing and procurement is the business language. So in supply chain, that is the key thing, sourcing and procurement, we call it. So it has basically two business functions and business operations, which is very much linked with the each other. Can anyone let me know what is difference between sourcing and what is different between procurement? Quickly over the chat with the few lines. What is sourcing and what is procurement? What is the major difference? Some people are new to SAP, no problem. You would be able to also understand today's session and we can also guide you. If you are new to SAP, what can rightly fit for you for the SAP learning. So what is sourcing? What is procurement? Sachin said finding right source of supply is sourcing. Sourcing is selecting the customer. Suman, not selecting the customer, selecting the vendor or supplier. That that might be sourcing, right? You're correct. So procurement means I want to buy from vendor. You can say vendor, you can say supplier, you can say business partner. Because I want to buy from vendor, supplier, or business partner. That is the job of the procurement. To do this procurement, I need to create a purchase order. I will give this purchase order to vendor. Vendor will provide its acknowledgement, then advance shipping notification or confirmation by which I can create an inbound delivery, which is not mandatory step, but I can create it to track the stuff. And then vendor will when the physically goods arrive to my premise, I will do the good receipt, right? Then vendor will send me the invoice. Then I will book the invoice in system. And the finance team will do the payment. We also call it this P2P cycle, right? Procure to pay cycle. So this cycle is basically procurement cycle, which we'll be doing day-to-day basis. We need multiple materials from the multiple vendors, and we'll be going through this cycle, right? But to start this cycle, you should know, ki bhaiya, who is my vendor? I want to buy this product. This product can be supplied by so many different vendors. So who is the right selected vendor for me? I need to select the right vendor. So vendor selection, I need to do it. Vendor negotiations, I need to do it. I need to finalize the rates with them. I need to set up the contract with them. And over the period of time, we need to also develop and improve our vendor. And will not stick with the one vendor. If it is a critical material, we will make sure that at least we have a 2, 3 vendors and supplier giving it us so that if something happens to that vendor, our supply chain does not get hit, right? So before we start this process, Before we start this process, we have some process which is called sourcing, which is when the requirement comes, you would be creating a RFQs, request for quotations. You would be sending the RFQs, request for quotations, to these different vendors. These vendors will be sending you the quotations. You would be comparing these quotations, or you would be doing the bidding between the vendors, and then you will select your source, that this is the place from I want to buy. Either you would be ending up creating a contract with them, creating a, in technical language it is called purchase info records, just a master data, the rates, setting up the rates, or creating a PO for them, and then the further cycle will start. This cycle we need not to do always. This cycle we need to do when we want to buy something for which we don't know who is our vendor, or we have still have so many vendors, we want to select one, or we think that the current vendor is not giving the right material, right quality, or right price, so we need to select another vendor. Then we follow the sourcing part. Then we follow the sourcing part, right? This the same thing is there in SAP S/4HANA. It is called sourcing and procurement. In Ariba, it is called upstream. These left-hand side functions are called upstream. Right-hand side functions are called downstream. Right-hand side functions are called downstream. Now you need to understand SAP has a different products. I will just show you this slide also. But you need to understand that yeah, SAP has a different products. For what are the two major products SAP has which supports this business functionalities, sourcing and procurement? First is your SAP S/4HANA, which has a module, sometimes we call SAP MM, or sometimes we call sourcing and procurement. Second is SAP has Ariba. Earlier, SAP was also having SRM. Now SRM is shutting down and it will be replaced by Ariba. Earlier, in short, if I will say earlier, SAP was having ECC and SRM. Now SAP has SAP S/4HANA and Ariba, right? That two are there. So if you compare this SAP S/4HANA and Ariba, and if you want to know the functionality, SAP S/4HANA has both functionalities, sourcing also, procurement also. Ariba has both functionality. It calls upstream also. It has a downstream also. Now, which one need to be used? Phil, what is the differences now, right? SAP S/4HANA is SAP's core ERP product, which is not limited to sourcing and procurement. It has a lot of different functionalities. You can do a plant maintenance, you can do a quality management, you can do the productions, manufacturings, you can do the different kind of plannings. You can manage your inventory, you can do the warehouse management, you can handle your shipments, right? You can handle the HR also. HRM is also there. So it's a core ERP product. SAP S/4HANA is a core ERP product. However, Ariba is a specialized product. And Ariba is available now on cloud. SAP S/4HANA is available on both on-premise and cloud. Where SAP S/4HANA is complete ERP solution, an end-to-end integrated ERP solution. ERP is your enterprise resource planning. Ariba is a specialized solution. Ariba is a specialized solution under the sourcing and procurement. So this is a specialized sourcing and procurement solution. Where SAP S/4HANA would be providing you very basic functionality and core functionalities of sourcing and procurement. Ariba would be able to provide you the advanced functionalities, which is not available in SAP S/4HANA. So many people come and ask me what a company should use, whether they should use Ariba or whether they should use SAP S/4HANA. Many companies use both Ariba also and SAP S/4HANA also. So you need to understand what are the strong parts, strong areas of these products. What are the strong areas of these products? When we talk about Ariba, Ariba is very strong into this left leg, or which is called the upstream leg. SAP S/4HANA is very strong into this downstream process or the procurement process. All the both has both, right? But SAP S/4HANA has strong procurement process because this procurement process need to integrate a lot. This procurement process need to integrate with planning. At some point of time, it need to integrate with your production. From the inbound delivery, it need to might be linked with your shipment module, with your warehouse management module. So this GR can link with your inventory management, warehouse management. GR can link with your finance module. It can link with the controlling module. Invoice is also completely linked with your finance and controlling modules. So this right-hand side part is integrated with a lot of other business functions: finance, controlling, planning, production, plant maintenance, quality, right? Inventory management, warehouse management, shipment management. There are a lot of other business functions which will get integrated with this one. And S4 HANA is bhaiya, very strong product with a integrated product with all the different functions because S4 HANA has all the functions. Ariba does not have quality management, plant maintenance, planning, production, manufacturing, detailed functionality of finance, detailed functionality of controlling. There's all things Ariba does not have it. SAP S4HANA have it, very detailed and very integrated. So this part, procurement part, is very, very strong into the SAP S4HANA side. However, Ariba is a very strong product. Ariba is a very strong product for the sourcing side of it. Wherever the sourcing is required, the sourcing functionalities are not that good in SAP S/4HANA. Wherever you need to do a lot of integrations with your vendors and suppliers, a lot of collaborations with the vendor and supplier, where you need to have a digitalization collaboration, where you need to have access to a portal where multiple vendors would already be there and you can do your bidding process or you can do a selection process directly from already onboarded vendors, right? Those things you would be able to do it. Those things you would be able to do it through sourcing. Sourcing also is very enriched functionality. The projects need to be created in that, and then the bidding process need to happen. Vendor selections need to happen. Then your contract life cycles need to be managed. A lot of things we need to do in sourcing. That all functionalities are very enriched in Ariba. Although Ariba has procurement also, procurement is full-fledged procurement is there, but it is not that integrated procurement. Downstream process does not get integrated because Ariba does not have that much of functionalities. So a lot of people also do it. They can have their any ERP system which they are using it. It can be the Oracle ERP, it can be the SAP ERP, and they integrate with Ariba for the enriched sourcing functionality, for the advanced sourcing functionality. They connect with Ariba. They connect with Ariba. There is also one major difference between these two, which I have seen and which I will highlight it here. This procurement part, okay, any company who's using both SAP S/4HANA and Ariba, what they do a lot for the direct materials. What are the direct materials? कि I am manufacturing a car. I need wheels, I need steerings, I need nuts, I need bolts, I need an engine, I need a frame, I need a chassis, which will directly go in my car. Any material which directly goes in my car is direct material. Then I have indirect materials. Bhaiya, I am running a manufacturing facility, I am running the offices, I need my office stationery, I need my office supplies, I need to buy my safety materials, right? I need to buy my laptops, I need to buy my furnitures, I need to buy my computers, I need to buy my hardware, I need to buy my server, I need to buy the coffee mugs, right? So many things I need to buy it. Although my major product is car, but if you will identify what are the total number of products we are buying, 90% of the products in count in the material, we buy the indirect. 10% we buy the direct. Although the value wise, the direct can be more. But the different kind of materials, when we say in the office supply, if you say in stationery items, we have paper, A4, A5, different kind of pens, printer, cartridges. So many things are there. Everything you need to buy it, right? And every time you need to buy the new kind of materials. The phones are changing, laptops are changing, connected cables are changing, routers are changing, right? Then you have a lot of tools you need to buy to run the things. With the machinery spare parts, you need to buy a lot of spare parts, you need to buy a lot of consumables, you need to buy it. You need to make your factory clean, right? So the cleaning services or cleaning equipments or the other things you need to buy it. Safety helmets, safety shoes, so many things you need to buy to make sure a business run with manufacturing or without manufacturing also to make sure a business run. We need to buy a lot of things which is indirect product or indirect services, right? When it comes to the indirect material, when it comes to the direct material, we would be having our fixed vendor, two, three vendors. I want to buy engine. Engine is the main thing in my car. Every now and then I cannot run outside to find who can provide me the engine. I will specifically develop my one, and engine is so specific that you would be having a one specific vendor supplying you engine, and in one type of car, you would be putting one type of engine. So you will identify, you will negotiate, your sourcing part is done, and for the years, for 3 years, 5 years, continuously you're buying from the same vendor that engine, right? But when you want to buy something like a ball bearing, and in the machines different type of there can be 5,000 different type of ball bearings which is available in the market, and there is 500 different big vendors who is supplying them. So when you need to buy, it's not a normal buying. It's not that every time you need to buy these tools whenever you require, you buy, you want to go ahead and buy, right? And there are so many vendors are available. If you want to buy 50 laptops for your company, what are the different variety of the laptops available in the market? And within one city, you will find 50 vendors who is supplying them. So there the sourcing functions are more there. In indirect product, why Ariba is used more? Because this upstream part, the sourcing part is more there. Sourcing functionalities are more required. That is the reason that a lot of company go for this Ariba for where indirect materials to manage the indirect materials. SAP S/4HANA, this part, they have a very basic functionality. Very basic functionality. In SAP S/4HANA, you cannot directly connect with the vendor. You need to develop the interface. There is no platform is there in SAP S/4HANA where vendors can log in, they can check what is the requirement from us, and based on that, they can provide us the digital quotations, or they would be able to participate in a bidding process. We cannot do a bidding process in SAP S/4HANA, right? Automatic integrations are not there that vendor is automatically giving confirmations of our product in our portals. Those kind of things are not available. Digital invoice are not out of the box solution. Okay, so those all things where basically your relation becomes more stronger with the vendor and supplier, and you connect more with the vendor and supplier. Those functionality, Ariba is very strong. That's why a company can use both SAP S/4HANA for the core procurement process and Ariba for the core sourcing process. And there are so many integrations can happen between Ariba and SAP S/4HANA at different levels. The integration can happen. We will talk about sometime later about those integrations between Ariba and SAP S/4HANA. But with that, you would be able to understand two things. Ki bhaiya, what is the difference between sourcing and procurement? What is the difference between SAP S/4HANA MM or SAP S/4HANA sourcing and procurement and Ariba? That key differences you would be able to understand. Feel free to put your questions. If you have any questions so far, feel free to put it on chat quickly. And if you don't have any questions, I want you to type NQ in the chat. Quickly. If you don't have a question, type NQ. I want your focus to come back. Okay. Can we execute special procurement processes in Ariba downstream? Sandeep, you need to specifically mention that what special procurement processes you are talking about, and I will let Sree to answer that question. Okay, mention what special procurement processes we have. Consignment, Sandeep is asking, consignment and subcontracting. Consignment and subcontracting, I know SAP S/4HANA has it. Sree, do we have consignment and subcontracting in Ariba?
No, we don't have.
We don't have.
Basically, ERP functionality. So to get the pricing, we can integrate the details.
Okay, okay. So the special procurement, consignment, and subcontracting supported more in S/4HANA, but to negotiate with the vendor, to get the price with the vendor, to get the purchase requisition which is created in S/4HANA, bringing it into Ariba, doing the sourcing in Ariba, and sending it back to S/4HANA so that the further consignment and subcon process can be completed. Those kind of things can be done. Okay, a lot of people still does not know much about Ariba. So I would be quickly going. So you understand SAP S/4HANA, whatever things I have mentioned in the mind map, I have explained you in manually writing in a traditional way of blackboard teaching, right? This session is more about Ariba, right? This session is more about Ariba. And at the end of this session, I would also speak about, and if you have a query or questions, ki sir, I don't know whether I should go for Ariba, whether Ariba is the right module for me or not, right? If that kind of questions and queries are there, I would be answering it at the end of the session. But let's quickly go through Ariba. Ki Ariba kya hai? Let's go through in a little bit more details. Let's also jump into the Ariba screens, how Ariba looks like. And I am not Ariba expert, although I did get chance to work a little bit on Ariba, but I am more SAP S/4HANA expert. Our Ariba expert is Sree. Okay, Sree would be the Ariba expert. And let me give you a quick introduction with Sree. And we are starting our Ariba batch very soon. Our team would be sharing you the details that when we are starting the batch, when is the first session. And if you want to enroll for it, they would also be sharing the link over the chat so that you can get it enrolled. Okay, the support team would be sharing a link over the chat. You can go through the link. Basically, this is the link. I can also put it here in the chat. Okay, support team has already mentioned it. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Sree is our trainer for this Ariba. So Sree is having an enriched experience of 12 plus years, and he is associated with SastraGeek Solutions for quite some time. I think more than 3 years, and he has done multiple batches, back-to-back batches of Ariba with SastraGeek Solutions, and he's also taken the corporate trainings also. But as such, Sree is a working consultant. He's working on the different projects. He just take out some time to share the knowledge with you because he's passionate about sharing the knowledge, right? And Sree, Sree also working because he's working on different Ariba projects. You would be able to ask him your real-time business scenario related questions based on his experience. You would be able to answer them. So, with that brief introduction of Sree, I would hand it over to Sree. But before I want Sree to start, let me check if any question which we have not answered. One question from Augusta says, can comparative chart from Ariba be used to prepare PO in S/4HANA? So basically what happens, maybe I will talk about, or I have done one session, which I will give it to you. I have done one session where we had talked about that what kind of integrations can happen between S4HANA and Ariba. So the comparative chart which you have, with that chart, what you can do the sourcing. Let's say you have a purchase requisition came to you, and with that purchase requisition, you did the sourcing. And with the sourcing done, you assign your supplier with your comparative charts which you have done. You assign your supplier to purchase requisition and send it back to S4HANA. So unsourced purchase requisition become a source purchase requisition. Or you can take the purchase requisition from S4HANA in Ariba. You can do the full processing, do the comparative chart, do everything, create a purchase order for it, and then this purchase order can be sent to S4HANA. That's where the integrations are possible. That's where you can do all the function features, comparative charts or other things to make sure that is used to identify the resource in Ariba and integrate it to S4HANA. Sachin said that indirect means unplanned. Is that correct statement? Somehow correct statement. The planning is not that easy for the indirect materials. Although some indirect materials can be planned also, reorder based planning, those kind of plannings can be done for them. But planning is not straightforward. For direct materials, was I would be selling 5,000 cars in January, 10,000 in February, 7,500 in March. And then I have a bill of material for them. So I can plan every month how much of material I need to procure based on the sales I'm expecting it. But to produce 5,000 cars, how much of lubricant oil is required in machines? That calculation is not straightforward and direct, right? So somehow, in one sense, you are correct. The planning is not that easy for the indirect materials. With that, Sree, over to you. Sree will be taking you into the little bit more details of Ariba, and he would take you into some Ariba screens also, and he will also take you into the curriculum of Ariba. Okay, Sree, let's go slow and steady.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Yes. Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Parminder. Thanks for your kind words. And yes, as I always say, you nailed it, all the business processes. By now, people who have joined today's session will be knowing what is procurement cycle and what is the procurement process from where it start and where it end. That's a high level knowledge insights which you are giving to the new people who don't have any business experience. So that's a great thing. So it's a great opportunity for them to learn all those things. Okay, now move on. I welcome all to the demo session. Let me take over. I'll be taking you today with SAP Ariba. So I'll be starting a high level, little bit overview on SAP Ariba. Then I will take you to the screens in Ariba, and then we'll open for the Q&A to answer all your questions. Because the time is not sufficient. If you want to go more and more details, that's fine. So let me take you to the small details about SAP Ariba. Hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Sree, we can see it.
Thank you. Okay. So SAP, first of all, Ariba is not an SAP company. So they were established in the year 1996, and they were very successful in B2B. That means business to business. Business to business. So they want to grow more and they want to reach to the higher volume. So in 2012, SAP has acquired Ariba. Now it's a SAP company. No more Ariba standalone company. It's a SAP Ariba. So that is at the high level. And then what is the platform we are using? Since 2012 onwards, Ariba was offered only as a cloud solution. No more on-premise. No on-premise. So what is on-premise? The application is installed in your client premises. It's called on-premise. So since it is a cloud-based, this can be accessed by any person or any organizations in the entire world with a little subscription-based methodology. So what is subscription? You're going to take the license from Ariba to use the application. That's it. So SAP Ariba is maintained by SAP. So all the application will be maintained by Ariba. They are business experts. As we are aware, since 1996, so far they have learned so much of the business practices, and then all the standard business practices have been incorporated into the procurement process. And Ariba suggests best practices so that you are not missing any of the industry standards. So Ariba is supporting almost 22 industries. So it's applicable for all the type of industry. If you are telling some specific industry, then SAP will suggest what is the methodology you have to use for Ariba implementation. So methodology is same, what are the processes they recommend, and then that can be used in your business processes. Now, again, so the platform when I'm saying cloud-based, it's also called SaaS platform, which stands for Software as a Service. So they are going to provide Ariba, SAP is providing as a SaaS platform. In cloud, there are different type of platforms are available where you're going to use the cloud to build the application, or you're only sharing certain part of the application like that. So one such platform is Software as a Service. We can discuss more when we are in the sessions, software as a service. Even if you are looking in India, so the battery of a electrical vehicles are being offered as a kind of a SaaS platform. So battery as a service. So you don't need to pay anything to the battery. Whenever you want to use it, you're going to pay the service charge for that. So that is a new trend now. So the total cost of your vehicle will be dropping to a marginal level. So earlier, when you want to buy a car, of a EV car, electric vehicle, which is costing around 13 lakhs. Now, company is ready to give you at 8 lakhs only, but you have to take a subscription for the battery. What you will do, you are not going to own it. You are going to pay as you go. So, on a particular cycle basis, you are going to replace that. So, the similar fashion, Ariba, you can also buy whatever you want that you can buy. So, what is you want means, as Parminder has mentioned, we have upstream solution and downstream solution. Again, further upstream solutions can be classified as activities like sourcing, where you're going to finalize the source of supply. Then after you finalize the sourcing, then you are going to negotiate a contract with the supplier so that you are agreeing on a certain standard terms. So in sourcing, we are finalizing only the supplier. In the second process, we are going to execute a contract. It's a legal and binding agreement which you have negotiated with the supplier in a legal format. That's the contract management. And the third, supplier management. As we already know that Ariba replaces SRM of SAP, supplier relationship management. So Ariba supplier management is also part of upstream management. Now, when I come to the downstream, it's also called procurement, where you're going to take buying solution, which stands from PR to PO creation. With this, buying solution will start. You can also go for an invoicing solution where invoice is matched against PO or GR. So we can discuss more, and then payment is made to the vendor. Payment is made to the vendor. So in these many modules which you are having, it is possible that either you can take only one module or a combination of different modules. Then any combination is allowed. You can take sourcing and invoicing, or you can take sourcing and buying, or you can take sourcing, contract, supplier, and you don't want to go with procurement solution. All flexibilities Ariba is providing. You can integrate it with SAP solution or non-SAP solution. There is no problem. It's a standalone system, so there is no need of any dependency on any other system. Once you perform all your activities, you can decide what you want to be exported to your ERP system and then move on the activities. For example, I have negotiated the prices using Ariba sourcing. Now, after the sourcing, I want to create a PO in S4HANA. That is possible. So once you completed your sourcing activity, when you send to external system, so PO will be created in S4HANA. That integration is possible. Second, maybe you are looking like S4HANA system, you want to use it, but you want to get the quotation from Ariba. So you want to compare all the quotations, all the supplier can respond in the Ariba, that you want to do that. You are going to initiate the purchase requisition process in S4HANA. Once you click on the button, then it will come to Ariba, and Ariba you can able to browse through get the quotations and compare, and then send back to S4HANA to create the purchase order. So much integrations are possible. As I mentioned, it supports both SAP and non-SAP as well. Now coming back to the service, since I mentioned as a SaaS platform and where you're going to be subscription based, you can choose depending upon your budget. Either you can go for sourcing module, contract, supplier, or buying or invoicing, or all together you can take. That's also called suite integration. What will happen in integration? You are eligible for all these modules and you will be using all the processes in Ariba. Now we discussed about what is offering by Ariba. Let's see the flow, a standard flow which Ariba recommends. So first method is sourcing. So what you are going to achieve in sourcing, you're going to take the price from different vendors and you're going to finalize one vendor and one or multiple vendor. There is no restriction. It's all business processes are allowed. Once you finalize the vendor, then you are going to execute a contract with them. Once you execute the contract, you can take the leverage whether you want to continue in Ariba or you want to send that pricing information to the external system. Let us assume that you're going to use Ariba for the procurement as well. Then after the contract execution, you can convert this contract as a compliance document to Ariba buying. So buying is a very simplified process in Ariba. Something like our Amazon or any e-procurement sites where you're going to purchasing. So you will browse through the catalog item, select an item and submit for the requisition. Once you submitted the requisition, it will go for an approval process. Once it is approved, Ariba will convert your PR into PO and send to the supplier. You don't need to do any other activities. What is your role? You browse through the catalog, add that item to the cart, submit it. Then system will take care. So what is the next step? Approval. Once approval is done, PO creation. After PO creation, sending to the supplier. And supplier is giving you order confirmation, you will be getting. All these things will be notified to you. As a buyer, you will be receiving all the updates. Even you can log in into Ariba, you can see where is your PR status. When you look at the PR status, you can identify. It is currently in approval status. It is in ordering status. It is order confirmation status. Once you look at it, you are understanding that. You don't need to follow up. In traditional procurement, most of the procurement buyers, they spend more time on follow up. Hey, have you received my purchase order? Then they will reply. Then you will log it in some other place and all. That is all not needed when you are going to an Ariba procurement site. You can able to monitor everything in a single phase. So now coming back to here, after compliance, we are going to send the line item details to the Ariba buying, and the buyer is going to process PR, like creation of a PR, converting them into the PO automatically. It's not a bigger task or anything. You just configure only the purchase requisition. PO generation is generated by Ariba. You don't need to configure anything in the system. The system will take care of that process. In SAP we might need to do auto generation, means we have to maintain, if people from material management, I'm saying, you need to maintain certain values in the item master and the vendor master to enable automatic PO processing and all. That's and all not there in Ariba. It's simply you're going to design the purchase requisition, what fields needs to be there and who has to approve only. Then PO generation will be taken care by Ariba. Now, we're coming to the process back to the PO. Once PO is generated and sent to the supplier, supplier can provide an optional order confirmation. Once it is done, you're going to perform the goods receiving, and then you're going to receive invoice, and then you're going to make the payment. Here, we are using entire Ariba flow. Suggestions are not working. Okay. So this is about SAP Ariba. I have just discussed a bit I have discussed about high level, what is the, when it is started, why they are started, when it is SAP acquired, and what is the platform Ariba is offered, and what are the modules, important modules in Ariba, and then the flow. So we covered here sourcing module, contract module, supplier management. So when I'm talking about sourcing and contract, I can able to choose which are all my preferred suppliers. Only I want to purchase only from the preferred supplier. This is covered under supplier management. Once you're done with this, maybe you want to evaluate the supplier also. So I have selected, during the sourcing activities, I found a lot of suppliers available in the market. Then I created one PO and sent to the supplier. I do not know whether my supplier is performing as my expectation. So that the process, there is a SPM, supplier performance management. It's part of SAP Supplier Relationship Management, SPM, Supplier Performance Management. You can conduct performance of the supplier, which you are going to evaluate with the end user. So I will be running a survey with my receiving department, asking him whether the material is coming in good condition, packing is there, whether the supplier is providing proper invoice, on-time delivery you are receiving, are there any damages you are expecting. That information I'm going to collect from my procurement team. I might be asking my finance team how is the supplier is extending in the payment terms, whether he is flexible. If there is a delay happens in payments, is it okay? Are he sending any duplicate invoices? Or the documentation, how supportive he is from the finance department. Then I will also ask the quality department, this supplier supplied material, how you are comparing the quality. Is it as per the standard specification? Are he suggesting any innovations in the industry? All those things you can able to do as part of supplier performance management. And based on this, you are going to achieve a rank. So what is the percentage he is getting? So out of 100 target points, suppose if he has received around 60, then what is my course of action? So course of action would be, if it is more than 90, I will just appreciating him, but I will ask him to complete the remaining 10%. If it is 60, I have to highlight him. We are expecting so much from you, but you are missing in these particular areas that needs to be removed. So you're going to define a period for that. After that period, again, you're going to review it. If there is an improvement in the supplier, then you can continue. If there is no improvement, then you take the follow-on action. What is that? Maybe you will block the vendor, or you allow only for non-critical purchases only. You don't want to use for the critical purchases. Like that, you can able to do the follow-up actions. That's all part of your SPM management. Okay, now this is about we are going to cover all these modules in detail as an end user, why we are doing the business practices, and what is the document you're going to create in Ariba. As a consultant, what is the back end you're going to do for each module and each template we are going to discuss and we're going to cover in our syllabus, unlike certain trainers where they just take only one session on the template management, which will cover all these three modules. It's not like that in our course. We're going to take deep dive of each module. We are exploring into the lot of options available in that module, like what are the documents you can create, what are the options, what type of configurations you need to do. That's all covered as part of the training. Now I will take you to the Ariba screens and then I will open for the Q&A. Let me take you to the Ariba screens. I am going a little bit faster just to cover all these three subjects. That's the reason. Bear with me. Okay, now this is your Ariba login page. This is also called Ariba dashboard, or you can call Ariba uh, home page. So whatever you can call. So this is very simplified manner. You don't need to remember T codes or anything is not required. It's easy of navigation. However, it's not that easy for a first-time user, but once a little bit exposure is provided, the user can able to navigate in the system easily. That's the reason Ariba was so successful, because you don't need to remember T codes or you don't need to go to SPRO. All those things are not there because the application is already ready. Now, let me explore something here. So this is the home page. And these are all the different modules, sourcing module, supplier management, supplier. And when I expand more, I should also see contract management, procurement, invoicing, all these data available. When I'm in the home page, all the content will be shown to me, including sourcing, contract, etc., etc. What is my to-do activities? What are all the projects I have created in the system under my document? Calendar will tell what are all the due dates. For example, in the contract, I have sent an approval. I am the approver. So I am supposed to approve by 20th. I missed that one. So it is going by the 23rd or 24th. I will be getting a reminder. You see here overdue. There are certain tasks which are all already overdue. Then I can select that item and take the action. So what is pending for to do this week? How many documents are in the review phase? This is as an approver, how many tasks are there? As I'm a manager for certain document needs to be reviewed, all those things are available in my home page. Then I can easily pick the data from my home tab. I'll come to the bottom of the page. This is specifically, event status is specifically for the sourcing module. We're having different types of quotation formats. That is RFI, request for information, where I'm going to collect from the supplier whether he is able to supply the material I am looking for. That information I am going to collect from RFI stage. Once I have collected that information, then I'm going to find out whoever says, yes, we can able to supply. With those suppliers, I'm going to float a quotation called RFP. Here, I'm going to collect the pricing information. So that is called RFP method. And next, out of RFP, there are around 5 suppliers as given to me, but I could see their prices are very near to the prices. I am not in a position to take which supplier I want to give it. Or even among these 5 suppliers, I want to have a competition and get me the best price. Then I will go with auction. So when I conduct an auction, the ranking will be shown to the supplier. Hey, with this provided price, you are level 3. So the price you are, so there are another 2 suppliers are giving better prices. Then he will put his more, whatever the margins he is keeping, he will adjust and he will say that another price. Then the level will say, yes, now you are in a lead one bidder. So that opportunity will come as part of auction bidding. That's the reason sourcing module is successful in Ariba, which may not be there in any other procurement solution. This is additionally, in order to get the quotations and all, you can also ask some additional questions like whether is ISO registered, whether quality certification is there, VAT registration is there. That's a generic survey if you want to do that he can do as part of the survey. Then forward action, if I want to sell something, then I can use my forward action. Again, these are all the different documents. Draft status means I am just preparing only. I have not published to the market. That's draft status. Preview status. I have published to the market, but I'm allowing certain time to read by the supplier before I will open the quotation to be submitted by the supplier. That is preview status. Open. So events are open to the market. The suppliers are yet to provide the response, or they provided the response, but still there is a time available. For example, I am going to conduct an event today, I will leave 3 days cushion time so that the supplier can respond. After 3 days, the event will close and they will not able to provide the response. Within these 3 days, they can submit their response, they can revise their response, all options are available. That period is called open. Pending selection. Once the time is ended, I am going to choose or select the supplier. That is the status of pending selection. Once I have identified a vendor in any of the stage, either in RFP or RFI or an auction, then the event will come to the completed status. Currently, if I want to look at how many RFPs are open, when I click this 13 number, so the data is showing for the last 12 months. So the system will give me those 13 documents. So these are all the documents currently open. You can see the event type as well. For example, I want to look at the detail. Quick project, RFP. Click on that project. So this is about sourcing module. Here, when I go to the content, so this is the price, 1000 and historical price. So this is still waiting for the responses to be provided by the supplier. I'll take another sample. RFP for laptop, monitor. So this is a training system. So people are waiting. Revert the draft. Okay. Sorry. Open again. Even it should be available under my recent also. So open. Monitor. Content. See here. So this is the leading price, 892.5. Initially, my expectation is $1,000. So I allow the people to enter the prices less than that. Historically, earlier I have purchased this item for 1050. By keeping my maximum price allowed is as 1,000, I'm going to save at least $50 per an item. These are all I have maintained as a buyer. Now the supplier provided responses. There are 3 suppliers. One supplier has provided the cost 910, 950, 892. So for 892, the system is also recommending this is the lead bid. So I can give the business to this particular supplier. So that is in a pending selection. That means an event has been completed. I am yet to decide which supplier I want to give this one. Then you can also go to the scenarios. The system also will recommend. So best bid, incumbent supplier, which you have purchased in the past. When I click the best bid, system will recommend which supplier is the recommended to go ahead. And then finally, I'm going to click on award. So that means you're confirming to the supplier that you're okay with these prices and all, but wait for an official document, either a contract or a PO. Based on that, he's going to start delivery. So once I completed this awarding method, I will show you that one also. I'll go to the home page by clicking on SAP logo, then come down. So completed statuses, RFP, what are all the completed statuses? I'm going to open. So let's open any one of the item, Apple products, click on monitor. So this RFP is completed. Yeah, same. Here, there are two suppliers, AA Industry and JBL vendor. When I go to the award, this was awarded to AA Industry. So you might ask me a question, do I have to give only for the lead bidder? So whoever provided the best price, it is not at all. It is the buyer decision whom he want to give the business. There is no system restriction that you have to give it to that particular buyer. Okay. Now under award stage, I can see that I can able to create a new contract using my sourcing project. This is the next step we generally follow when I have completed my sourcing activity. I'll go back to the home page. Just to give you at a high level on the user screens, that's the reason I am showing this. Now I want to search for certain project. How can I do that? By clicking on either this search button or this magnifier. And before you select this magnifier, select what project you want to search that information. So I want to looking at the sourcing project. I'll click on this navigator. And then I enter text value of that item. So Apple product I'm looking for. This is a free text. You can enter whatever the state. The projects with the word Apple will be displayed to you. Okay. And then now there are so much projects have been shown to me. However, system is recommended only 100 projects. I can ignore this result by going to ignore maximum results limit. Then I can click on search. If that item is available here, I don't need to do that. If not, I can look for all the projects which is used as an Apple. Then I can find that. So when you are creating a project, you define the name, which is very easy for you to understand so that you should be able to pull out the report. There are 4,000 records, 4,000 plus records are available. However, I want to look at the events which are all created this year. Then what I can do, creation date, I can change to this year. Then click on search. Out of 4,300, during this year, how many projects are created? On 1,158. Further, I want to select only RFP type of projects only. Then I can click on search. So like that, I can use these filters to narrow down my search result. So much easy, 505. You have so many options to select the field values. You can use process status, region, commodity. When I click others, the system will give me all these the document headers which you are using for a status to be displayed, or the filter you can select. I'll cancel that. Let's move on certain other areas. I'll go to the create menu. Here, based on your permissions, you are going to see what are all you are able to do that. For example, I have an option to create sourcing request, sourcing project, contract workspace, and supplier request. Suppose I give only permission to a sourcing agent or a buyer, then they won't see these roles, contract workspace and supplier request, they will not able to create. They will only see sourcing request and sourcing project. So the menu of create will give you based on the permission this user is having, it is showing under create. Once you create any of the project, second, if you want to manage certain detail, like managing a purchase order, managing the templates, which is a consulting activity, managing the reports, system provided reports, managing my task, how many tasks are pending for me, I want to take a decision, and your administrative activities like importing of a data. Upstream related data can be imported via administration. Downstream related activities can be performed under core administration. So when I go to the administration, the system will tell me what are all the administrative activities I am eligible. When I go to the data import and export, so all the data import and export which is available in this system will be displayed here. I can able to import the data. I can import the commodity codes. This is a kind of like people who are already aware of an Ariba. They are thinking about the integration. This is where you're going to maintain all your configuration. I'll go back to the home page again, and with the short discussion, we will wind up. So here is the self-service menu. When I click here, I can able to change my password, change my secret question, activate mobile device. So Ariba is also available on a mobile device where you can able to perform certain activities, deactivating the existing mobile devices, notification preferences. You can able to change some notification. What are all the notification you want to receive? You can control that. And theme. So what you're seeing is a light theme. There are two themes are available, dark theme. So how much it is useful? For example, I'm working on a client system. For test side, I will be having one theme, and production side, I will have one theme. So it is easily identified which system I'm working on. I think that's about the navigation. We will discuss more in regular sessions. Now let's open for the Q&A.
Okay. So the link has been shared. If anyone has any another questions related to that, what would be covered in the course or what were the things would be included, you can also go through the link. But I want to quickly open for the questions that if you have any kind of questions, you can now feel free to ask it. I'm available here. She is available here, and I will also talk about after your questions that Ariba as a module, it's good for what kind of consultants? That also we'll talk about. Okay, we have Trisha Sharma.
Uh,
Trisha, go ahead.
Hi, Sree, this question will be for you. So, yes, since you gave the overview of Ariba and you're an Ariba expert, I wanted to understand if I go ahead with this session, will I be getting the knowledge in terms of becoming a implementation consultant for Ariba? Will you be taking us through template creations, template upgrades, form creations in GB and other aspects of Ariba as well, or it will be from the perspective of an end user?
No, no, it is the consulting experience only, not like end user kind. The
Okay.
why we are covering end user also because people joining from different streams where they do not know how to create it. So that is
Right.
as expected. So that is covered first, and consulting experience will be covered second. And third, you're going to use whatever the template you have created to test it
Mhm.
if it is working
Okay.
fine. So these three levels will be covered in the
Okay. And the server access that will be provided, will it be an admin access or an end user access?
admin access only. So what
Admin access.
I have, you will also be having the same access.
Okay, great. And if we can get the source curriculum, what all topics will be covered, that will be very helpful because the link that is shared, we do not have the complete set of topics that will be covered,
No, no, I think
that will be shared.
it is there. If you
It
have
is
some
there?
doubt, you can.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll check that. Thank you so much.
So this is the curriculum which has been, the link has been shared, and you can go through this curriculum. It's a 5-page document. Okay, this is recently just shared by the team. You can check in the link. This is the 5-page document which cover what are the things would be covered during the training. And it has also the course, also the dynamic course here. Also, you can check it, what other topics has been covered, or in the previous batch, what topics has been covered. That also you would be able to check if you will little bit explore the link which has been provided. Okay, going ahead with the Rayan. I think the same question is there. from Sachin also that what are the downstream topics are covered. Sri, you want to speak on this? What are the downstream topics are covered?
Yeah. So in downstream, you will be having to PR. No, can you scroll down? SLP. Yeah, next. Yeah. Here, procurement. So requisition, purchase order, invoice reconciliation, payment, approval process, receiving. Can you scroll down further? Administration. So administration, core administration, master data, user manager, data dictionary, these are all related to the downstream only. You will be covering with the catalog manager, and you will also covered on invoice exception types, and you are also covered on commodity code mapping, uh, ERP commodity code mapping you are covered. So entire downstream related topics are all covered in the course.
Okay, then we have one hand raised by Rayan. Yeah, Rayan.
Hello, Ryan this side. Hi, Parminder.
Hi,
Since
Rayan.
trying to connect you from a longer time, so somehow finally.
Okay, good to have you,
Yeah,
Rayan. Let
yeah,
me let
yeah.
me know how we
Just,
can.
I'll give a little bit of brief. Previously, I was working in Bosch. Now I'm currently working in Ford. Like same as the end user, like from S4 to Ariba, like creating PRs and processing in Ariba. Almost from 3 years, I'm into same journey, but now I thought of switching like up to the consultant. So my confusion is for my this thing, like, which is suitable. I know you have explained what is Ariba and what is sourcing and procurement, but I want to know like which is in demand, like which I can do. Even I have done S4 HANA certification also. So I'm like confused. I'll go in this or this. So especially if I ask, so which you can prefer me. If you
So,
ask interest, if you ask interest, both also have demand, but Ariba is a little bit new. But as an end user, I have very good knowledge in this both. From 3 years, I'm working in all big OEMs. Yeah.
so you are having an end user experience in SAP S/4HANA, and you are having end user experience in Ariba. Is that statement
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So, how many total years of experience do you have, Rayan, in total?
3.9, 3.9.
Almost 4 years.
Yeah, almost 4 years. And
Out,
Bosch and Ford, this is my second company. Yeah.
out of these 4 years, how many years of end user experience in Ariba and how many years in S/4HANA?
3 years in Ariba, 3 years in both because PR I'm creating in S4 and processing in Ariba. This is the same story because we I'm per day I'm more than 500 PRs I'll generate and more than 100 RFQs I'll send. It is the same daily routine for me
Okay,
because
so
huge
currently the
manufacturing and
profile which you have, I suggest people to go ahead with both SAP S/4HANA, sourcing and procurement, and SAP Ariba both. There is no straight away, there is nothing as a sequence that first you need to do Ariba or first S/4HANA. Because you have experience in both, you should go ahead with both. Why I am saying both? Because SAP S/4HANA is widely implemented in multiple companies. So that will increase the number of projects which you will apply or number of companies you will apply. That will increase your bandwidth. But Ariba will
yeah.
give you niche. The number of people in Ariba is very less. But as a consulting company, if I want to take someone, like to take Rayan as a consultant, over anyone else, I would always prefer that if Rayan knows Ariba, he's SAP S/4HANA also, the both modules know. Maybe I'm taking Rayan for Ariba. But by chance, if I don't have a Ariba project, I would also be able to put him into the sourcing and procurement SAP S/4HANA project also. So your number of chances to get selected for a consulting companies as a consultant will increase when you both have. Anyhow, if you will see the SAP thought process, SAP itself, their own consultant, there are so many people from SAP as a company itself. SAP labs also come to us. We have trained them. Ariba people come to get training on SAP S/4HANA. SAP S/4HANA people come to get training on Ariba. So their SAP also make it mandatory in this practice that every SAP S/4HANA sourcing and procurement people need to know Ariba, and everyone who knows Ariba need to know S/4HANA sourcing and procurement. So in future, if you would be running in this line, these are the same horizontal Okay, or you can say it's the same vertical sourcing and procurement which you need to cover. So do both. That will increase the number of chances, and there's a high demand in market, people who knows both parts so that they can work strongly onto the integration between those two products. So as you said, you are already certified in SAP S/4HANA sourcing and procurement, Ryan. You go ahead with Ariba, and after doing Ariba, if you feel you can brush up, we can help you to also brush up SAP S/4HANA sourcing and procurement and go for the job market.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that. I'll do that. Yeah. Yes, thanks for your advice for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
Parminder, just one more thing I want to add. The course curriculum is not covering the entire topics which are covering, but all these five modules in depth we are covering. There is no thing on that, and also we are flexible on the timing. So we are expecting 30 hours. So if the course is interactive and people are having more and more questions, there is no limit on the session. We might go up to 40 also. So there is no such. So you will be covered entire topics on that particular module. Just I want to highlight that.
Thank, thank you very much, Sree, for that. Giving a chance to Deepika.
Yeah. Hi. My question is like in last classes you gave me option to take up EWM or Ariba. So I've got 5 years of experience in SAP So since I'm traveling to Australia, so my question is like EWM or Ariba, which will give more options to get job and like which is like more like suits for me and like that is my perspective like.
See,
EW
if you want to select between Ariba and EWM, so after having a hand on SAP MM or sourcing and procurement, there are the two strong connections. First strong connection is to the inventory side because we need to receive it, the material which has been given for vendor, we receive it, we bring it into the inventory. So SAP MM sourcing and procurement module is indirectly also linked with the inventory management, right? So that is the area where you can go forward from SAP MM towards the more into the inventory. If you are more into the inventory, if you have more exposure to the warehouses, right, then you can go for SAP EWM. But if you want to say that I want to do something within sourcing and procurement, I want to increase and excel more, then the Ariba is the tool. Then the Ariba is the tool. In future, it is going to happen. Okay, in future, it is going to happen, not in near future, maybe in 5 to 7 years. People would be asking for the both skill. Right now, if you go into the market for a particular module, right? QM, so and PP, there are the 70% job requirements are there which request for a module SAP PPQM. PPQM both they require it. Right? The similar way it is going to happen with Ariba because Ariba is extended sourcing from the S/4HANA. After 4 or 5 years, there would be a requirement in the market where they are saying SAP Ariba S/4HANA consultants are required. SAP Ariba S/4HANA sourcing and procurement consultants are required. So that way you can select your module. If you are confused, you are not sure, go for Ariba. If you are sure that inventory attracts you, inventory management attracts you, then you can go for EWM.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Okay. Thank you, Sree. You have answered a lot of questions over the chat. FND is asking when will be the Ariba training duration and when is the training starting? That message has been sent multiple times by support team. Support team, can you again put the message? When we are starting, I think we are starting on 26th of December, 7 a.m. India Standard Time. It would be 1 hour session, Monday to Friday. 26th of December, we are starting. So support team, please again put the message so that people can go through the link and get the enrollment done. Anyone has any other question? Maybe you have asked earlier, we missed to answer, you can put it again on the chat. We don't have any weekend batches. It's a weekday batches, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. IST. Support team has provided the link again, so you can check it. Will integration with external system like S4, MDG, ECC would be covered? Let Sree answer it. The system we have, the kind of system, not only we even in the SAP training also you will get it. It's not the integrated system, but let Sree cover that what kind of integration theoretically would be covered.
Yeah, that's correct. So we are going to cover from the Ariba perspective, whatever needed from the Ariba side, that is covered. So we will not able to show you on the different other system, which is not possible to show.
So it is not easy, the cloud system, to get integrated with the other systems. That kind of lab we don't have. Even that kind of lab we were not able to achieve in many of the corporate trainings also. In some corporate trainings we will be able to achieve, but there we spend on the lab itself. It was around 8 to 10 lakh rupees has been spent for a batch on the lab itself. So that connection with the different system, the lab is very costly. We were able to do for some corporate trainings. They have set it up the labs with the integrated systems, but for this training, we would be covering, as Sree said, to let you know from Ariba side what we need to do it as a Ariba consultant, but will not be able to show you the systems integrated with each other. Yes, theoretically it would be covered. Theoretically, it would be covered from the Ariba side. Whenever you need to do integration, there is a lot of things you need to do. Ariba consultant need to do. Then the middleware consultants need to their part. Basis consultant need to do their part, and the other system S4 HANA MDG consultant do their part. What Ariba consultant need to do, that would be covered. Anyone has any other question? Deepika, your hand is still raised. Do you still have a question?
No.
Okay, no problem. Shreyansh has a question. I am having 4 years experience in system support. Wanted to start my career in SAP. Could you please suggest best SAP module to be choose, and when will be the training batches? I am 4 years experience in system support. Shreyansh, if you can raise your hand, I will give you the unmute access. Want to know a little bit more. By the time we are asking Shreyansh question, Sree, Sachin has a question. Can you share a few details about Ariba access to practice?
Yeah, just we have shown in this demo, right? The same access will be shared to you as well. You're going to practice the same screens.
So whatever the access the trainer has, you will be having the same access, Sachin. Shreyansh, can you unmute yourself? Maybe Shreyansh has dropped. Okay. Yeah, Rayan, do you have any other question? Rayan, your hand is raised. Do you have any other question?
Yeah. Sorry. Actually, I was on mute. But only one doubt. If I take as a Ariba training consultant, will I learn to how to do like negotiation, those things, bidding, and those things and all?
Yes, you will be learning it.
Yeah,
All
because in my profile only that thing is missing because rest of the operational activities from past 4 years I'm be doing. But this one thing is missing, like how to do negotiation, like contract, how those things and all. Just wanted to know. Yeah.
That's covered, but you need to ask me only because unless you specifically ask, because I'm going to show it from the system side. In the business side,
Ah,
you ask, how can I ask with the supplier? How can I get better prices? And why I have to do? You can ask that question. So we will be listening and we will be explaining. I have
yeah, because
experience on that. So
yeah,
that,
because just one question, because one question even they asked me in interview. There are four suppliers. How do you select who is the best supplier? It is a simple question, but as for the system view, I just wanted to know how it works. That's all.
no problem. I will explain that. Yeah. In the
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for this. Thank you.
you will.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ryan. Shreyansh is not able to unmute, or maybe he got dropped. Uh, I don't see any other questions in the chat. I don't see any another hand raised. So Shreyansh, if you join, just reach out to support team. We'll connect with you to understand a little bit more what kind of exposure you have, and then we would be suggesting you the right module. Okay, with that, we are ending the session. Thank you, Sree, for giving your time for today's session. We appreciate your presence and your time. Thank you, everyone. We also appreciate you came up for this demo and gave your time. We'll catch you during the live sessions. Abdul is asking, will recorded session lectures would be provided? Yes, every session is recorded and the recordings would be provided to you in 24 hours. Each session recording would be provided. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day ahead. Bye-bye for now.